Hey, it's been a while since the last time I posted something on this channel, so I figured I'd just show you an update of some of the recent new stuff I've been working on. Basically, this is my new sort of custom text editor that I've been working on, and I just want to show you some of the cool features that it has. So I just finished off the a go to anything feature where you could type like the name of any symbol in the program and it'll find, like functions for declarations, type defs, types, and stuff like that. So you could just quickly navigate through your program. Um, and if you insert space in here, it actually just like ands these two things together. So it looks for things that match. Looks for things that has both panel and void in it. So that way you can narrow down your search. So you could say output, and now it's even narrowed down more. So that's pretty cool. It basically lexes the entire source code on the fly and just builds up symbols, code symbols from the tokens. It basically builds up these symbol things. So type defs define structs, classes, variables, all that stuff. Now it's not perfect by any means, because C is really tricky and a little bit annoying to parse. Well, this is also like kind of C++. There's templates and stuff here, but it does what it can, and for the most part it does what I want, so I'm not super crazy about it. Yeah, so that's one feature. The other feature is interactive find, which is like it does pretty much a string match as you type. So it's kind of like Visual Studio's Control Shift F, but it's interactive. Like you could literally search for anything in the program, like including comments or anything like that. Like you could search your to-dos, you could search your notes and stuff like that. So it's really nice. I use this thing mostly for like kind of as an alternative to Visual Studio's find all references, even though it's not perfect. I mean, Visual Studio's find all references doesn't even work in the first place, so it usually just breaks and it just does a text find. So this is even better. So yeah, so you could highlight a symbol or select something, and you could just Control F, and it just gives you searches all the files on disk that are in the current project. And you can see here, these guys, they show you the line number information, the line and column number information, but these guys don't. Right now, I only do this for files that are already been loaded as buffers. So these guys have already been loaded here, but these guys are still in disk. So when I open it and then do a Control Shift F again, so if I do IMGUI, that's a lot of IMGUIs. Let's search for this here. Yeah, so now you can see it shows the line number and column. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so syntax highlighting is not perfect for multi-line tokens right now, so it breaks when the beginning common token gets out of view, like this. That's because when I'm rendering, I only render from the beginning, from this point here to this point here, so anything that's outside does not get rendered, so it doesn't get tokenized. And I just need to fix that, find a nice way to add syntax highlighting in a fast way that doesn't involve, regular expressions or some shit like that. yeah, you also have your basic sort of file browser. So a green means it's already been loaded, white means it's on disk. But yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this thing. It's amazing how much you could get away with. Like this project has made me really appreciate how fast computers are and how slow like current software is. Like when I wrote this interactive search thing, like look at this. Like I just type I, and it had like 200, almost close to 300,000 results within like a split second. Now do that in other editors like Visual Studio or whatnot, and it's just like it takes forever to load. And the crazy thing here is that like I'm not doing anything clever, I'm not doing anything smart. This is just like the dumbest, like the first thing that I ever thought of. That was the stupidest, simplest, dumbest way I could have ever implemented it, and it's still faster than most software out there. So yeah, so if anybody asks you, you know, why are you writing your own text editor, or why are you writing your own engine and whatnot, it's just like, man, like it's really fucking depressing, you know what I mean? Like it's just, yeah, it's nice. What else I can talk about real quick? Show you some of the commands here. So you got your basic. So these are all the commands here. You could actually type Control P and it gives you a list of all the commands that you could execute. So that way you don't need like a toolbar or whatever, and it takes up space and it's kind of clunky. So this way you could just start typing what you want. So there's like a debug window I could show for like some debug stats. I can open up the IMGUI. By the way, this is I'm using IMGUI for the rendering for this thing. So I could be like, you know, like I could, which is nice because I could just start changing things on the fly. Like I could change, I don't know, the window background or whatever. These things should affect. Yeah, yeah. This is really gross. Yeah. So show you what else here. Yeah, so you got your basic commands here for navigation. So like you have your next word, previous word. That's control right, control left. And I'm very picky with my cursor navigation, so I usually have it where it just goes to the next sub word. So if there was like an underscore, it does this sort of a thing instead of like skipping the entire thing. You can still skip the entire thing, but you have to hold shift, so it selects the whole thing. So if you want to navigate, you do control arrow, and if you want to select the whole thing, you just like control shift. So if you want to delete this character here, you just control right, control backspace, and obviously there's undo support. Yeah, there's block navigation, so I can hit control down. It just goes to the next sort of beginning of a paragraph kind of thing, so it's really handy. You can see those the matching symbols or these braces are being rendered, and this just shows you the current indentation level. Basically the editor is aware of the position of these braces, so indentation is automated for you. So if I were to copy something and paste it here, it just automatically indents it. And if just to show you that it does it, like if you undo, this is the unindented version, because it does it in two steps. It pastes the content first and then it does an indent operation, and that has an undo register on it, so that's why. Yeah. I tried playing with like automating the indentation, so you don't even have to do it. Like you can never get wrong indentation. I tried playing with like virtual spaces and baking the space within the rendering, but that had some problems, and like it posed some questions that I didn't really have a good answer to, so I just left it like this, where it all automatically indents when you insert a certain character, in this case like a closing brace, or like when you paste. And if something is not indented right, you could just hit a command to indent, so Alt F to indent the current block. And the same thing for when you're inside of parentheses here. It can do this sort of stuff. So that's nice. What else? Yeah, so basic text. You got go to matching cursor to matching symbol. It's pretty handy. And you could select a matching symbol like this, and you could just delete an entire block if you wanted to. You got your basic home and end, beginning of a line stuff. Yeah. What else? You got go to definition. So it just uses that same sort of symbol navigation stuff to go to the definition. I should show you that thing real quick. So it iterates on all the buffers, and if it's a code buffer, which is like not a text buffer, it rebuilds the code symbols for that buffer, adds it to a list, and iterates on these symbols, and just compares the char star. This is an intern string, so it compares those, and if they match, it adds it to a list, a structy buffer kind of list of symbols it found, and takes the first one, I guess. This is not really, because there could be more than one symbol matching, so I guess I should do something like, so if there's one match, do this, otherwise, oops, do execute, got autocomplete. It works very similar to Visual Studio's, but it's not context aware, it's just text aware, but it also adds weight to the results, so it's not just like, you know, whatever the thing prefix matches, there's actually weight being added to the results. So I'm gonna say if there's more than one result, I'm just gonna delegate the thing to the go to anything. So if there's more than one result, it just shows this thing. So, and I don't know if you saw, there's like sort of a notification system here where it just says, you know, like some important things that happen that you might want to pay attention to, like, I don't know, saving, or when you edit a text and externally from a file, when you modify a buffer that's currently loaded from an external source, it tells you, hey, there's been a change happen externally, do you want to reload the buffer, and things like that. Yeah, you got two views here. What else? You got tabs, basic tab navigation here, because I'm just used to it. No, there's basic marker setup support, so you can place a marker here, and then you can go back to it like this. Another feature I found really useful is, let's say you're typing something here, and let's say you press something by accident and now you're like here and you don't know where you were, like let's say you scroll down or whatever, it's frustrating a lot of times to just go back to where you were, find that spot. So I have a command to go back to the last edited cursor position, so it just jumps you back. I have smooth scrolling, which is really nice, like it's not jarring to the eye. Even when you go page up and down, it's kind of smooth, it scrolls nicely, smoothly. Yeah, these are all, you got basic, you know, incremental search. It's implemented very similar to Visual Studios because I really like the way they do it. It's very non-intrusive, meaning if I hit any other command besides typing and backspace, it just exits the mode. So if I hit down here, it just goes down. So it just passes through the command to be executed on the buffer. So if I hit left, it just goes left. If I hit delete, it just deletes. So it also selects the first match. And you could say go to next match, and it loops around. Yeah, there's basic building. You can build. Control-Shift-B, and you know, if there's like errors. Oh, this is actually a file that's auto-generated. Let's try. So it's like, oh, there's an error here. You could just double-click it. Go to the error, and you can also say Alt-N to go to the next error. What else? This is totally non-structured, by the way. This is just me. Yeah, this is all the basic stuff you would expect. Full screen, I love that command. It's so useful. Undo, redo, join lines is very handy. You could just hit a button, join. I have macro recording, which is really nice, so you could start recording, you'll see like a little circle here show up, and you could do this sort of thing, and it just plays back whatever you did. It records your input and plays it back, basically. It's really simple. Yeah, so this is it. I think the idea for this is I'm going to be using it for a bit just to get it mature enough, and I'll probably just like open source it because I really don't care. This is just meant for me, for my workflow, to make my life easier. And yeah, this thing actually started way back in 2016 when I found a text editor tutorial by Per Vonsen, actually, and he was using Direct 2D, I believe, as his rendering, and I followed him along, and I was like, wow, it's really not that bad writing your own thing. But it never really went anywhere back then, because, you know, I would just like be working on it nonstop and just burn out and not make any progress for like a long time, and then come back to it for like a month or so and then burn out again. That kept happening for like years, and finally I got back to it about 4 months ago, and that's when, like, you know, like I've been absolutely like just like crushing it. And the only thing that I did different this time was just stay consistent and just don't go crazy. Just do an hour a day. Like, this was all done within like 3 or 4 months on my spare time for like about an hour, maybe if I'm lucky 2 hours a day. That's it. So yeah, like really consistency is the key. Like if you can stay consistent and not burn out, you'll be able to accomplish a lot. And yeah, I really want to thank Per Vonsen for you know, being a source of inspiration for me. Actually, like, I never really thought I could just, you know, write my own text editor, but I mean, the guy is a beast. Like, you just see him program, and he's just like very casually, you know, writing a compiler from scratch or a language from scratch. It's just like, wow, that's pretty fucking cool. So, thanks to you, Per. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll probably post some more updates as there's a bunch of more features here I gotta do. But yeah, that's it. See ya.